What are some tips on a good, healthy diet? Again, it does not have to be complicated. And there's so many fad diets out there. I'm just going to call them fads. I'm not going to call them, I'm not going to say they're bad or good necessarily, but some fad diets. And maybe they're not fad because some of them aren't fad because we've been following it as people for thousands of years. But there's a carnivore diet out there, Mediterranean diet. There's a keto diet. The list goes on of what diets there are out there. The vegan diet, and then there's a SAD. If you guys haven't heard of that, that's a standard American diet. That's one of the diets you definitely want to stay away from. What's a standard American diet? Well, standard American diet is basically we eat processed foods. And what are processed foods? Well, that is a broad definition for sure. Because even if you eat beef, unless if you eat mostly beef, let's say you're mostly carnivore, and you eat mostly beef, unless you went out and you killed that cow yourself and you processed the cow yourself, butchered it and packed it all up, unless you did that, which most of us don't, then you eat processed foods. Okay. So what do I mean by stay away from processed foods then? Because obviously processing, eating beef is good. So when I mean processed foods, I mean basically if it comes in a box, it is processed. So if you can read, on the package and it has, ingredient list and all that kind of stuff, it's probably a processed food. And think about that. When you buy a head of lettuce, does a head of lettuce have ingredients on it, or how many calories it is? Or when you buy apples, does that, no. When you buy a bag of potatoes, does that? No. When you buy a beef at the store, which we don't buy beef at the store, we buy it from a butcher, but a local farmer, does it have the calories on there? I mean, it does a lot of times. But if you buy it in the one from the butcher section, they usually don't. So that's non-processed stuff. So stuff that doesn't have an ingredient list listed on it, and the number of calories and servings and all that. So stay away from processed stuff.